The routine of managing our finances might be one of our largest obstacles in our busy lives. Due to bad money management and a lack of emergency funds, we may even experience financial catastrophes. Financial management is now essential for monitoring your expenditure and raising your savings as a result. If you controlled your spending and adhered to a budget, your life may be considerably simpler. It goes without saying that the extremely rich have quite different financial perspectives than the average person. They appear to have no trouble getting money, have lots of it, and aren't afraid of spending it. From the outside, it's simple for us to assume that their perception of wealth is a result of their financial situation. But what about before they became obscenely wealthy? While some super rich people were born into riches, a lot had to work hard and overcome many obstacles to become wealthy. Today's world is filled with innumerable self-made millionaires. Many of them began their journeys in homes where the median income was at or below the poverty line. How would you react if I told you that the majority of you had the wrong perspective on money? The typical individual has no notion of what money actually is or how to use it to live a life of freedom. They spend it to purchase food, pay their bills, and acquire items that they'll only use temporarily before becoming useless. Your understanding of the notion of money will drastically shift by the end of this video. I think you're fortunate to have discovered this video. Are you prepared? Hello, and welcome to Stealth Wealth. Today, I'll talk to you about the most powerful way to think about money. Many people, including myself, consider financial success to be the end aim. We look for the greatest rates of our savings accounts before we go to work because of this. When we deposit money, we feel pleased, but when we spend it, we sometimes feel bad. Even money used to pay for necessities like food, rent, utilities, they can feel like a loss. We would prefer to have it in our pockets. Money, however, isn't a consequence in and of itself, as is the case in reality. It's a tool to achieve a goal. Most of the time, we don't become wealthy just to be wealthy, and if we did, wasteful spending wouldn't be much of a concern. We set aside money for the things we want and need. We tend to objectify money as a number in our bank accounts. We don't think about what money can do for us when we see it as merely a number that fluctuates in relation to our income and spending. We naturally spend less money on regrettable purchases when we give our buying more thought. Money is a mechanism that enables you to transfer value through time and distance, but for most individuals, money is also emotional and intimate. Once you realize that money is the same as a vehicle or a vacuum cleaner, your perspective of the world changes. It accomplishes a certain goal. Money moves value from A to B, just as a car moves a person. At work, you create value that you then move to a new location at a later time. The more you consider it, the more clear-cut and accurate this truly is. Money drives you to wherever you want as long as you're a competent enough driver. You know, just like a regular automobile. Before we continue, do me a favor and like and subscribe this channel for more financial tips, learnings, and hacks for you. People are living longer than ever, so you shouldn't worry too much about passing away too soon. Because of this, you need to save more money than your ancestors ever did because you may easily be retired for more than 40 years. While longevity is excellent news because it gives you more time to see and do things in your lifetime, you should still worry less about dying young. It also implies that you need to increase your savings efforts right away. You can't get to happiness without first achieving serenity. Therefore, use money to buy yourself peace, and you'll get there. When people claim that you can't directly buy happiness with money, they leave out the fact that you actually can. This is how it works. Peace results from the absence of tension and concern. We worry less when we feel secure and confident about the future because we're not as concerned about tomorrow's meals, where we'll sleep, or whether a tiger's hiding in the underbrush. That may be purchased because these are financial issues. Once you've purchased your security, you're left with issues that don't involve money, such as how you feel about yourself, your relationships, and what you need to accomplish to be content in life. You'll eventually reach happiness once you've bought yourself some peace. Unfortunately, emotions such as worry, tension, guilt, greed, relaxation, and enjoyment are frequently tangled with money. Why does that matter in terms of financial decisions? What are the chances that we would carefully track our spending patterns if we were worried and upset about how much money we have and feel guilty about what we spend on? Consciously keeping track of our expenditures seems to simply increase our tension and anxiety. But what about reassurance and joy, you ask? How are these happy associations harmful to us? Spending money is a quick, short-term solution that may quickly develop into a dangerous habit when used as a coping technique to divert or alleviate us from other unpleasant feelings. Money can only buy so much happiness. After a while, we find ourselves spending more and more to replace the fleeting joy of a recent acquisition. We're likely to think more clearly and make better financial judgments if we avoid using money as the basis of our emotions. Of course, the next concern is how to distinguish between our financial and emotional lives. Being broke and being poor are quite different things. You're broke if you have no money. If you're poor, you feel there's no way for you to escape your financial predicament. So, are you insolvent or impoverished? People in poverty acknowledge that their situation is unavoidable and unchanging. They begin teaching their kids at an early age that they're impoverished and will always be poor. The things that keep them that way are the man, the system, and the universe. Only those that recognize that they're poor now but have possibilities to change are able to escape it. They don't think being broke lasts forever. They think they can bring about change, even if it means exerting more effort than those who may have been dealt a better hand in the beginning. Because they want tomorrow to be a little bit better than today, the poor strive to improve themselves and are prepared to put in the effort to get it. They take a methodical approach to the procedure. To the impoverished, the world is all black and white. Their desire is to become wealthy, not to stop being poor. You can listen to this segment again as many times as necessary until you're certain that you're truly broke and not poor. Then you can get started on improving. Furthermore, simply because it's difficult to predict what our future will bring 10, 20, or 30 years from now, doesn't mean that financial planning should be avoided. Even while retirement or any long-term goal you've been wanting to save for may seem far off, if you don't start planning ahead of time, you can find yourself racing to make up for lost time as you get closer to it. It's in our best interests to consider how you'll wish to utilize our money in the future to create a family, cross things off of our wish lists, and enjoy retirement. To maximize your financial resources, you should find a means to strike a balance between our immediate demands and our long-term objectives. Evaluation of ongoing expenses also benefits from long-term thinking. Even while buying an iced latte from the neighborhood specialty roaster every morning may seem like a little price to pay, how would you feel when your annual caffeine expenditure totals $1,300? Another thing, you're essentially investing your time rather than spending money. We're aware of this tremendously important lesson, which is why we detest shopping. You are aware of the adage, time is money, right? Well, your mind will be blown by this, but it works the opposite way around. Money is time. What does it cost you to obtain money? What do you exchange it for? Yes, you're selling your knowledge, talents, and abilities, but ultimately, it's your time that you're selling. Whatever you know how to accomplish with that time is merely a multiplier added to the price of the worth of your time. The groceries you just bought cost you 2 hours of work in addition to the 40 minutes you lost roaming the aisles at the shop. You need to begin thinking about shipping in terms of time rather than money if you want to regain control of your financial situation. How long will I need to work to pay for this? That's where you learn the genuine worth of your purchases. It may seem as though we're starving ourselves in the now when we lay money aside for the future. It might feel much more fulfilling to indulge in life's luxuries today for the immediate enjoyment. It might be challenging to imagine advantages 5 or more years in the future, similar to thinking long term. We have a better idea of what we could accomplish with the money right now. What if we changed the way we look at it such that we see it as purchasing our future freedom rather than denying ourselves? We might be able to retire earlier, have less anxiety about retirement, and achieve more of our long-term goals by saving now rather than consuming. That's why it's important to think of saving as purchasing freedom. Money is perceived as a consequence for many of us. Anything we obtain as a result of working, when it's used up, we lose something. We utilize it to pay our bills and support our lives, but we seldom ever consider money to be a tool. Simply said, it's what we need to obtain in exchange for our time and effort. The accumulation of money appears to the typical individual to be a zero-sum game. The wealthy just do not regard money in this way, which is one of the most obvious distinctions between their worldview and ours. Almost all of the successful people I've ever researched have a mentality that sees money as nothing more than a tool, a device to help them get and accomplish more of what they truly desire. The top venture investors in the world are more familiar with this idea than others. Their capacity to see and use money as an investing instrument is key to their success. You cannot anticipate miracles to occur immediately. Instead, you need to develop a lifelong practice of saving money. Don't just set aside your budget after you've prepared it. Instead, be steadfast and make an effort to fully adhere to it. You'll find that your budget is quite helpful in identifying impulsive or unneeded purchases. On certain days, you may want to shop for your favorite items or meals, but if you have a spending plan, you'll be more mindful of unnecessary expenditures. If you have enough money saved up, you'll be more inclined to stick to your spending plan, which will help you form a lifelong habit. Such savings can help you deal with several problems that may arise, which will benefit your future investments. Your objective should be to have enough money to live the life you desire, not to get rich. You shouldn't take on risk you're uncomfortable with, and you shouldn't diverge too far from a global indexing strategy. As your perspective on money changes, so should your goals. That's it for our video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Comment down below if you have any questions, clarifications, or suggestions. Watch for our upcoming related videos.